Welcome back to another video. We're going to take a look at how we can transfer objects from Blender towards Unity with animation. And this will be the case study. We see over here that red cube that will clip within the other one. This will move as following. So we're going to see exactly how we can define this. Now, this is a default cube from Blender. And as you know, the default cube within Blender will have 2 meters. So we see over here dimensions. You can press N to open the side panel. And over here within dimension, you're going to see those. You can also use the measure tool over here. And you can select 2 points, for example, those two. I already have a measurement over here. You can also go ahead and you can add additional measurements over here. You say that I want this diagonal. You're going to see that this will be 2.82 in this case. Now, I want to transfer this model towards Unity. So as we see over here, this will be the reference, the 0, 0, 0 point, and the cube will be straight in the middle. If with the cube selected, I will go to File, Export. I'm going to save this as an FBX. Over here on desktop, I will just call this cube 1. I'm going to go over here for selected objects only. If you don't do this, the camera and the light will also transfer. So just as an example, I'm going to show you this. So I'm going to call this cube 1. I don't have this selected. So selected objects limit. That means that everything will be taken. So that means the camera, which we currently have over here, and that additional light source. Now, those two objects will be converted because Unity has its own system for that. So let me just go over here and I will create a new folder. I'm going to call this 3D models. And I'm going to import a new asset over here. And I know that from my desktop, I have cube 1, which is the following. So we have the cube over here. If I will drag and drop this within the scene, and if I will take this to 0, 0, 0, let me just activate that numlock. And we're going to see this will be the origin of the scene. So this is currently based on SteamVR asset. And we're going to see that the player will be spawned over there. Now, this object that I bring in is entitled Cube1. And now we see that this will be the following. And you're going to see that the light, which is this one, the point light from Blender, has been converted. So if I will go over here, we're going to see that this is a point light with a power of 1000. That has been also translated over here. And also the additional camera. And now on SteamVR, since I brought in a model that also has a camera, if I will start simulation, this will be my perspective. So I'm actually seeing this cube and the environment from that camera perspective, and the interaction is locked. This is due to the fact that this camera overlaps on start the VR camera. So if I will disable that, if I will run the simulation again, we're now going to have this transferred to the other camera. And as we can see, that light kind of adds a lot of brightness over here. And this is not that visible. So if you want, if for some example, you're going to take that light as well, you can easily disable it. So you can just check it. It will usually be parent under that larger component, in this case, cube 1, which is the FBX name. And this will be the environment. So this is the default cube, and we're going to see how we can create an animation like this. We have the red cube that will go ahead, do a translation for 5 meters, and after that it will go back. And yeah, let's take a look at that. Now, I'm over here within Blender. If you don't want to move the light and the camera, you can just select those and move them. Blender doesn't actually need those, only for the rendering. So if you're just going to work on a 3D model, I highly recommend that you're going to delete those. Now, let's do the movement of the cube. In this case, let's say that I want to add this 10 meters. So not only 5 as within the reference. We have over here this timeline. So currently I'm within frame 1. I'm going to activate over here auto keying. And now, since I know that this will be a translation on the keyboard, I will keep my mouse over here within the viewport. I'm going to press G, that's for grabbing, and I'm going to hit enter. And you're going to see that this will add a small symbol over there. So this will be the starting point of the animation. Now we need to define how long we want this animation to be. Keep in mind that by default within Unity 13 seconds will be 1 second. So let's say that I want this to be 180 in this case. After that, I will press G in order to move this. And now I'm going to press X to define that direction. And as you can see over here, I currently have snapping enabled. And this will only go from 1 meter upwards. You can have that unchecked over here. But as you can see, that animation has already been generated. So I'm going to press undo. And now we don't have that animation. I disable the snapping. I only enabled this when I did the measurement. So I will keep that disabled. I'm going to go over here as well. So I'm going with auto key pressed. I'm going to press G, enter. That has overlapped the current position. I'm going to go the way to 180 and I'm going to move this. And we see that it no longer snaps, but I can add a numeric value. So if I will type in 10, this will actually be 10 meters. And now if I'm going to check, this will be the movement. Now let's move this with the animation. So I'm going to select the cube. It doesn't matter where you're going to be within Blender when you're going to export this, because Blender will bake this in. That means for each frame, it will know exactly the position over here, the location. So those will be the baked values. And then within the file, we know that at 30 degrees, this will be at 0.7 meters and so on. So each position for each frame over here will be stored. I'm going to go within file, export, and I'm going to go for FBX. I'm going to call this cube 10 meters because that's the animation. I want this to be for the selected object. So that's the only object that I currently have. So it's not mandatory. Now within animation, I'm going to go ahead and I will disable all of those. I'm just going to keep the bake animation over here without the individual elements over here. We're going to see that with a more complex model, like the model of the car that we are going to add, it's mandatory that we only have this. Otherwise, Blender will create individual animation for each component, depending on the all actions or strips over here that we have selected. So I'm going to export this. That is ready. I'm going to go within Unity. So I'm going to go within import new asset. And now I have cube 10 meters. So this is the model. I can drag and drop it. I can also decide where exactly I want this to be. So the position will be 0, 0, 0. You can press F. This will center the selected. So it's important that you're going to have that selected. Now we're going to say that this cube is straight over here in the middle. If I'm going to do the play, this for the simulation, we're going to have the model, but this will not actually be animated. As you can see, the one over there in the back will be animated and it will clip the additional model. Now, in order to add that animation, if you're going to expand this model, you're going to see over here this element entitled scene. And if you're going to play this animation, this will actually do that translation. So starting from that location, the 0, 0, 0, it will go on to this axis, which is in this case X, and it will go 10 meters. So the model had that animation, but we see over here within the component, within the inspector, we only have the transform, which will give us the position of the cube. We're going to have the cube mesh filter in this case, and we're going to have the mesh renderer. If I'm going to disable this, this will no longer be visible within the viewport, but we can still add collision to that and other components, but strictly in terms of visibility, this will not be rendered. Now, in order to add that animation, we can type in over here, add component, and you're going to see over here that we have animation. With that selected, we're also going to have over here an animation clip. I can click over here and this will search within all the animations that are currently available within my scene. I can also have the possibility to drag and drop this one because I know that this is entitled scene. But we're also going to have over here an animation list at the bottom. So if I will play, press over here, add to list, this will create an additional element. And I'm going to store the same animation over here. We see that this is set to play automatically. That means that within the first frame of the application, this will also start. But if I will check the model, we're going to see that that animation isn't actually going to get started. So there are other ways where we can control this animation. So we see that this is currently not being animated. So if I'm gonna check this one, over here we're gonna see that we have the following. I have over here an animator, and I use that in order to animate this. And this will be the better solution because we can also apply root motion in that case, and we're gonna see exactly what that means. So we have this animation over here. I'm just gonna create an animator controller in this case. So for this animation, I will just remove it for now. I'm gonna go over here, right click. I want to create a new animator controller. So I'm gonna call this cube 10 meters. I'm gonna double click this and this will actually open over here the animator. So by default, we were over here within the scene. We have the game where we can have that preview of the VR application, and we're gonna have the asset store. So within the animator, I can drag and drop that animation. And we're gonna see that this will be linked to entry. That means as soon as the application will start, this will be the following animation that we will have active. The speed is set to 1. That means it will use the same speed that we embedded from Blender on this. And now I'm going to select this cube. And if I will go over here, I can add a component, I can add an animator. And for the animator, I will use this one. So drag and drop that over here. Now, if I will play this, let's take a look at what will happen within the environment. So we're going to see that that cube will actually go ahead and this will go 10 meters over here and then it will stop since we don't have any additional animation. Now this goes straight over here and follows the x-axis. If I will go ahead and I will change the position of this, let's say that maybe I want it to be over here on the back. And over here on the y-axis, I'm going to add 0.5. In this case, actually 1 in order to have it above the ground. Now, if I'm going to play the simulation, let's take a look at what will happen. We're going to see that actually the cube still will remain over here and it will play the animation over here. So this is where we have that play on root setting that we can check. So play root motion. This is actually the naming. So if I will now start this, we're going to see that that cube will actually go over there. But as you saw, it no longer goes only 10 meters in this case. It will go a further extended distance. So one workaround for that would be to just make this an empty parent and apply that animator animation to that one. So this is the cube 10 meters. I'm going to right click. I'm going to create an empty parent. And I'm going to copy this animator, or I can move up. That will just take it over here within this list. So move up, move down. It will just move it over here. So I can just copy that. I can go over here on this large empty parent and I can paste this over here. And now I'm just going to disable this animator. I can also delete it. And let's play this again and see exactly what will happen. So now we're going to see again that the cube will only go for those 10 meters and then it will stop. So this is why it's important to use empty parents and define those means between components if you want to have that precision when you are creating this VR environment. You can also go ahead, you can double click on this, and if you want this animation to also go back to the initial pose, we can go over here to a speed of -1. That will do the animation in reverse. And we're going to make a transition by right clicking on this one, and I want to transition back to the default state. You can also change the name over here. I can type in over here -10 and plus 10 meters on X. And if I will play this again, we're now going to see that it will start to the first animation. So that's in 180 frames. It will go 10 meters. And after that, it will go back to the default state. So this is how I can control the animations. Within a further video, I'm going to go ahead and I will create some interactions with the buttons that we have over here within SteamVR. And I want to create an animation where I'm going to do a button press that will trigger an animation of a model that we are going to bring in from from Blender. So that will be the following video, and that will use the following Mini Cooper model over here. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. You're gonna find a similar video on the left side, and I will also add a subscribe button to the right. So that's it. Thanks for watching.